Hey folks, today we'll understand async-await in JavaScript and I'm sure that after watching this video you'll start using async-await in your code. So without any delay, let's get started. Okay, so first things first, why we even use async-await? Okay, so what is the need to use async-await? No, async-await is nothing but syntactical sugar over promises. What I mean by it is, you guys know that we were using the dot thens and dot catches after the promise, that chain of dot thens or dot catch. Sometimes it gets quite messy to write that way. So to avoid this and to make our code easy to read, and I would say even easy to write, we use async await over that thing. No, so yeah, that's the only thing we use async await, because it's much more cleaner. No, okay, so I think you are clear on that point. Now let me show you something. Let's have a function. Let's name this function ya, because I could name it anything. Okay, and let's return 1. Now let's call this a, or rather let's just console log whatever this a is returning. No, so you can see in the console we are getting 1 as output. Okay, but let me show you something. What if I add the async keyword in front of the function? Let's say what happened. Now it is returning a promise. So get one thing clear, that whenever we use the async keyword in front of a function, that function always returns a promise. Yes, that function each and every time returns a promise if we use the async keyword in front of it. Okay, now there is another keyword called await. This await keyword will use it in the function which is having the async keyword in front of it. Okay, and if we try to use this await keyword in any other function, like in a normal function which doesn't have the async keyword, then we'll get a syntax error. So yeah, now let me show you some examples that I wrote for you guys here. Okay, this is a normal function that is returning a promise. Here what is happening is, we are just, this is a function resolve after 2 seconds. It is returning a promise after 2 seconds because we are having a set timeout here. No, and this is returning this resolved thing. Okay, now let's just, first I'll execute it using the dot then, and then I'll do it with async. No, and then we'll move on to some complex examples. So because example is the kind of like best way to learn. No, doing things is the best way to learn. So I'll say resolve after 2 seconds, then I'll use dot then, and what I'll do, I'll take this response as res and I'll just console it and nothing more. So yes, I consoled it, and you can see we are getting resolved being printed in the console. Okay, so I don't think this needs any explanation, because since you are here on async await video, you must know how to use promise. If you don't, first watch my video on promise, then come back to it. So yeah, you must have to have a basic understanding of how to use promise or what is a promise. No, so where was I? Okay, so let's use this thing with the async function. So I'll say async says something like, this is a asynchronous function. Some asynchronous task is going on inside this function. No, let's name this function a again, and what I'll do is I'll say let res equals to, let me just first comment this thing out, and if we want the same output using this async await, we'll do this, we'll do await, and although let's see, let me first show you what will happen if I just run this, and I'll just console log this, console log res, see what will happen. Okay, it is taking 2 seconds of time. Okay, I have not called it yet, no, so yeah, so let's call this function a. So we are getting a promise here, no, we are getting a promise here. Now if I use the, obviously no, because this function is returning a promise, hence I am getting a promise, as simple as that. But let's say if I use the await keyword here, see what happens. Now I am getting this result being printed. Okay, so I am getting this thing being printed. Okay, so what is actually happening here is this line number 12, when our JavaScript engine reaches this line number 12, it will see this await keyword. Okay, in this async function it will see this await keyword, and it will wait, it will understand that this is a promise, so it will wait for this promise to get settled, whether it is resolved, whether it is rejected, doesn't matter, it will wait for the promise to get settled. Okay, then only will the next line will get executed. This is a simple one, I think you'll understand this. Just remember the syntax. When we have an async function, use the async keyword, some async operation to do, and then we'll have this await keyword, and this await keyword will say wait for some time. Let me just do let me just get resolve or rejected, whatever this function, whatever this thing is returning to me, then I'll run the next line, then line number 13 will get executed. So okay, now let's say we have a reject scenario also here. Let's say we also have a reject scenario here. So how we can have a reject scenario here, let me, okay, so we can do, what we can do is we can remove this first of all. Now what we can do is we can say if and let me just change the name of this function, so it will be better named, no, resolved after delay, and we'll get delay here as parameter, and I'll say if delay is smaller than 0, if delay is smaller than 0, then return, no need to use return, we'll just reject saying what, delay should be greater than 0, okay. And we don't have to use else block, because if it's not rejected, only then we'll get to line number 6, no, so there's no need to use the else block. We'll simply say resolve, if reject won't run, that means delay is greater than 0. Now we'll have set timeout here. No, not like this, we can just have set timeout here. We'll resolve this, and we'll say resolved after some time, and I'll pass the time 2 seconds. Okay, so what's the error? Okay, it's saying it's not defined. Okay, no worries, I'll just comment this out. Now first let's see how we'll handle this situation in this normal dot then and dot catch thing. So what's the error again? It's not defined, so I'll say resolve after delay. and here I'll pass delay of, okay, not 2 seconds, I'll just whatever the delay is being passed, this will be resolved after that delay, no. So let's pass a delay of 1 second, and since we have passed the delay of 1 second, you can see resolved after some time is being printed in the console. Okay, because obviously this won't run, this will be resolved, and hence the result will be this resolved after some time will be printed in the console. Now what if we have this time less than 0 milliseconds, no. If we have time less than 0 milliseconds, then in that case we have to have a catch block, because in that case a promise is rejected, and to handle that we have to have a catch block. Let's say we'll get error. In terms of error, we'll get this thing, delay should be greater than 0, as this in place of this error parameter here. So and do what, and we'll just console log error and nothing much, no. Okay, so if let's say I pass a time of -1, we get delay should be greater than 0, okay, because this is being rejected and this catch block is being executed. Okay, now let's see how to do this thing in async function using async-await. How to do this? It's easy, you'll understand quickly. We'll say, so what we'll do is we'll have a try catch block in this. Let me just remove all of this. Okay, so since we have an error to catch, we'll have a try catch block in here in the async function itself, no. So first we'll have the try block, and here we'll write what we wrote before. We'll say let res equals to, what was the name of our function, it's resolve after delay, and let's say the delay is of again 1 second. Okay, I am giving time in milliseconds, no, because here we have to use that time, and here it should be in milliseconds, that is why. Now I'll just console.log res. One thing I forgot, I have not used the await keyword, so I'll use it. Now you can see this red line below the try, so for it to remove we have to use the catch. If there is a try, there should be a catch. Okay, it's not like you could only have try, no man, it does not work like that. So if we have catch, let's catch error, no. So we are catching error here, we are catching error here, and I'll just console log the error, then I'll make you understand what I'm doing, although it's quite straightforward, but still. So now we are catching error and we are getting resolved after some time. Okay, there is no error in this code, we are able to catch the reject thing, no, the error thing from here. Okay, so what happens is simply we first try to do this thing, we try to we see if this promise gets settled. If it gets resolved, then okay, this catch block will never gets executed. If it's not, then whatever is being passed as the rejection reason will be passed on to the catch block, and whatever the code is here, like whatever code is written here, won't get executed, no. So whatever code is written inside the try block below line number 16 will not get executed. Why? Because this promise is rejected, and hence will directly move on to this catch block. Okay, so yeah, that you guys should understand. If there is an error, whatever the code is there in the try block after the rejection or after the error will not get executed, will directly move on to the catch block, and in the catch block the error will get passed from the promise where that error occurred. Okay, so yeah, that's an example. Now let me get to the next example. It's a good one, no? So you'll understand more about these things, these async await stuff. Although I think you have some grip over it, but still let's try it and have this example. Okay, now here there is nothing much, we just have two functions. First let's concentrate on the first one. We'll have a function get salary where we pass the age, and it is returning a promise where if age is greater than 40, it is returning a salary of 10,000. And if age is not greater than 40, then only this line number 6 will get executed, and it will say you are underage. This is what we get, you are underage, this string, this line. Okay, and now we have this function get bonus, and if in this get bonus function will pass the salary, what it will do is it will simply resolve it and say, since your salary is this, will give you 5,000 as bonus. Okay, whatever the salary is. Okay, so yeah, that's the only thing. Now let me show you how to, what I want to do using dot thens and dot catches. Then we'll replicate the same using async await, and I'll tell you a few more things about async await, because in this example it will be better for you to understand those stuff. So yeah, that's why I didn't tell you those things in the previous example, because I wanted to keep it simple, no? So yeah, but this is also simple. You guys are smart, you can understand very quickly, you guys are not dumb like me. So okay, what I was doing is, okay, let's have this function get salary, and let's pass the age greater than 40 so that it will be resolved, no? So let's pass the age 42, and then we'll say dot then. Now what we want here, we'll just have the response, and let's call the response 1 here, because we'll have another response here, and then we'll call that response 2. So I'll just console log response to see if it is consoling or not. That's it. Yes, we are able to console it. Now I want another dot then here and I want the whatever is being returned by this then to be used in the next then. So I have, for that to work, I have to return something. So I'll say first console log this res, then do what? Then do nothing but just return this res1. Okay, so what I'm thinking is I'll take this res1 as salary now, as salary for the, so that won't work what I'm thinking. So okay, so instead of this, let's say get bonus, and here pass res1. Okay, so it will return us this line, this resolve thing, no? You understood, no, what I am doing? I am just first console logging this thing, this 10,000 thing, because this promise will get resolved. Then I'm returning this thing. Okay, because when this get bonus res1, I'm returning this promise, no? I'm returning this promise. So I'll say res2, and then I'll just console log res2 and nothing much. I'll say console.log res2. Okay, we are getting this thing, and let me just write one more thing here. Let me just console log processing. Okay, so here in the console we are first getting the 10,000 from here, then from line number 18, then this will be returned, this get bonus thing, like this promise, this thing will be returned. So whatever is being returned, we are just console logging it here. No, so we are just console logging it here. Okay, now let's say if let's also add a catch block for the why catch block, because let's say we have the salary here. There is no way this promise could get rejected, no, here in line number, in this get bonus function, but here it could be rejected if age is less than 40. So if age is less than 40, let's say age is 30, the promise will get rejected. And since there is no catch block, we are not getting anything in the console, and we are getting this error saying you are underage. But we have to have that in the console, no, so we have to write the catch block for that. So we'll name this error err as always, and we'll just console log it. Okay, and you can see we are getting now you are underage in this console. Okay, now let's try to write it in the async await fashion. So I'll say async, and yes, we have to have the async await inside of a function. No, we have to have function, and inside that only we have to use await. So yeah, that's a restriction that I feel is there, because we don't have to use this function a anywhere in this the dot then and dot catch chain, no. Okay, so let's write it using async await. Let me just comment it out, and then we can write it using async await. So what I'll do is I'll do let res1, or rather I'll just say let salary, so it will be more readable, because that's the whole idea of async await. So it will be like more clean, more readable, that's the whole thing, no. So I'll say let salary is equals to, I'll do await, and I'll do get salary, and here let's pass the salary again as 42. Okay, now since salary is 42, I'll just again console log. Like, see how easy this is to read, no, because if someone don't know how promises work, or if even someone knows how promises work, and this may become quite complex after some time, this thing, no. And see like how clean it is. I can do like let bonus. Okay, let's say let bonus is equals to await get bonus, and here I'll just pass down the salary that I'm getting in line number 29, and then I'll just console log bonus. That's it, that's all I'm going to do. Okay, although I also have to use a try catch block, but wait for some time, we'll do it. So here you can see that like see, no, how simple it is. Easily, like here we are using get salary, and it feels like a synchronous function, no, that we use very often. So it's feel like very synchronous thing, no. So we are getting salary using this get salary function. When we are getting the salary, we are doing nothing, just console logging it, or we can just remove this console log also, but we are console logging this processing, and then we are getting bonus by using whatever the output we are getting from here, from line number 28, that is the salary. So we are using salary to get the bonus, and then we are console logging bonus. It's so easy to understand. Here it sometimes becomes quite messy, so yeah, so it's so easy to understand. Okay, so now we also want to have this this scenario where the salary might be less than 40 and this promise might get rejected, no. So we also have to handle that scenario. So for that, I just told you we have to use try catch block. Let me just paste this inside the try catch block. Okay, so we'll have try and then we'll have catch. Inside the catch, let's have error, and then what we'll do, we'll just console log the error. No, so we'll console log the error, we'll console log the error. Okay, it's not running because we have not yet called this this function. So now you can see this is being printed. Okay, first okay, so let me just also console. There is no need to console log the salary, no. There is no need to console log the salary, so I am not doing that. Okay, I am just leaving it that way. So yeah, now there are a few things that you need to understand. First, let's add the catch block. First, let's add the catch block. Okay, we already added catch block, I forgot. Okay, so there, if let me try, if let's say age is 30, that is less than 40, we are getting you are underage in the console. Okay, you are underage in the console, we are getting it. Okay, and it's very easy to read. This code is very easy to read. Okay, now what happens is, let's say just watch carefully, then I'll tell you what is happening. I'll just write, this is what should I write? This is some line, this is some line. Okay, and I want this a to be called before this console log. Now you guys, some of you guys might get confused, and I will tell you what is actually happening. Now you guys might think that why is this happening? No, this you are underage should get printed before this is some line, before this line, no, and this should be printed below this you are underage thing. So what is happening here? Okay, so this is an important thing to understand. What actually happens is, when we are calling this function, since this function is an async function, and we are using this await keyword here, when our JavaScript engine comes to line number 29, it sees okay, so this is a promise, so it will either get resolved or rejected. Like whenever it gets settled, I'll come back to it, and meanwhile let me go ahead and see if there is some other code to run outside of this function, outside of this async function. Let me see if there is some other code to run. That is why this is an asynchronous thing, no, and this is so helpful. So it will see, when it comes to line number 29, it will see this await thing, and it will say okay, so till this promise gets settled, let me go and do some other work that is being pending. So it will come and run all of these codes, all of these code that is being written here, no. So and when this promise gets settled, it will come back and then execute it, and then execute the next line in the try block. Okay, then let me just reiterate, when this promise gets settled, it will execute the line after the line number 29, okay, until it meets the next await keyword. When it meet this await keyword, it will again see okay, this is an await keyword, that means this is a promise. So since this promise, till the time this promise gets settled, let me do some other work. So it will again come outside of this block, and it will see is there any work being pending, and we'll see okay, no, there is no work being pending because there is only one line, there is not 50,000 line. If there were 50,000 lines, it may be the case that 10,000 lines will get executed, then this result will get printed, then afterwards all other lines will get executed. But since there is no work, there is nothing being pending, this will get the result from here, and this line number 32 will get executed. So what actually happens is, whenever the JavaScript engine encounters the await keyword, it knows that there is a promise to be settled, so it goes outside and do some other work outside of this async function and do some other work, and when the result is ready, it comes back and execute the lines below that, below the line which has the await keyword. It executes the line in the try block below the line, below the line which contains the await keyword. Okay, if it again encounters another await keyword, same thing happens. It will again see if any other work is being pending, and it will go and do that work, and whenever the result is ready from the promise that is in front of the await keyword, it will come back and execute the lines below that promise, below that await keyword. So this is how it works, no? And here there is like, here the promise is rejected, so but let me show you. If this promise is not being rejected, this we are getting, this is some line, then first we come here, this JavaScript engine comes here, it say okay, this is promise, so let me go and do some other work if there is some other work being pending, and it will do this work, and then it will come back and to line number 29 when the promise is being settled, then it will go to the 30th line and run whatever is there. Then it will go to line 31 and sees okay, there is an await. Then it again goes outside of this a function block, and it will see okay, no work is being pending, and meanwhile it says okay, this promise is also being settled, so it will come here and just execute the next lines in the try block. So yeah, this is what is happening here. And just let me just quickly see that if I have covered everything. No, okay, yeah, I think I did. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you don't, no worries, but I hope you guys understood something and got some value out of this video. If you do, I'll really appreciate if you could subscribe to my channel. So yeah, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and next time I will learn about fetch inside async-await, various methods of fetch like get method, post method, etc. So yeah, do subscribe to get the update from my channel. So that's all guys, we'll meet next time.